Our call to community today is called I'm Not Alone. It has a very simple refrain, so you can join in with me and Liz whenever you feel comfortable, or just relax and let it wash over you. I'm not alone, 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 I'm not alone. I forgot for a minute who I belong to. The mama earth, the wind and rain, the beauty and the pain. I'm not alone. For me the world was created. I'm not alone. To dust I will return. I'm not alone. 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 I forgot for a minute who I belong to. The mama earth, the wind and rain, the beauty and the pain. I'm not alone. For me the world was created. I'm not alone. To dust I will return. I'm not alone. 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 I'm not alone.
Good morning, everyone. Our call to worship words this morning are a responsive reading, so please join me in saying the words that are on the screen. I will say the ones in bold, and you will say the ones not in bold. All that we are, together and individually, is part of the abundance of the universe. We are made of stars. We are made of earth. All that we have comes from the earth, from the labor of those in our communities, from the cities, farms, and oceans that enliven us, the world, and those who live in it. We are surrounded by blessing, by grace, and by possibilities. We are reflected in every other human being. We respect and honor one another's differences. We celebrate our interbeing with abundance and the practice of generosity. Come, let us worship together. As we begin this service, let us take a moment, as we always do, to acknowledge that we are gathered on the traditional lands of the Duwamish people, stewards of this land in the past and the present. With humility and gratitude, we honor this land and the Duwamish tribe and commit to our role in the story of repair of our relationship with this land and with its people. Whoever you are, wherever you have come from, whatever the color of your skin, whoever and however you love, however your body moves or your brain works, however you identify, you are welcome in this faith community. Our Unitarian Universalist tradition has no creed, no test of faith, no oath to swear. We have instead the promises we make to one another, commitments we make to healing a hurting world within and beyond these walls. So welcome, everyone.
And now, let us take a moment to light our chalice. Our chalice lighter today is Jessie Durst. Will you please come forward? This chalice is the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist heritage. May its heat energize us for the work that is ours to do. May its light make our vision clear and bright. May its warmth comfort us always. This morning, as we light this flame, we mark this time as sacred time. We mark this space as sacred space. Let us share in all of this together. Now, as Jesse lights our chalice, please join me in speaking the words of our congregation's affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship. Thus do we covenant with one another. Thank you, Jesse. Welcome to the Westside Unitarian Universalist Congregation. I am Aimee Schiefelbein, a member of the worship team, and it is a great joy to be gathered with you for this service on the theme of belonging and practices of care. If you are with us for the first time or the first time in a while, welcome. We are so glad that you are here, both here in the sanctuary and joining online, to make some space in your life to attend to your heart and spirit, to come together in community. Please visit our website, which you can do by scanning the QR code on the card in the pews, where you can fill out a welcome form so we can get to know you a bit better and send you our weekly electronic newsletter, The Westside Week. It is good to see familiar and new faces today. Let us now take a few moments to greet our neighbors around us. It is good to see such welcoming connections being made. There will be another opportunity to continue these conversations downstairs after the service at coffee hour. Each week, congregants who agree to light our chalice are given a chance to respond to a prompt. This is a chance for us to get to know them better and invite more voices into the chancel. Jesse has been asked to offer a piece of poetry that is meaningful to him.
Still getting used to having to wear glasses when I read things. You can flip to the image if you'd like. Thank you. I never resonated much with religious dogmas, creeds, rituals, or professions of faith. As a teenager, while many of my peers were attending church and reading the Bible, I was reading books by physicists like Stephen Hawking. But one particular author had a profound influence on my early development, starting me on a path of exploration and resonating with me on a deep level. And that author was Carl Sagan. Although he died early in 1996 at the age of 62, Carl Sagan's writings continued to inspire thousands of young scientists. As an astronomer and science educator, Sagan's most famous works include the novel Contact, which was adapted into a movie in 1997, and Cosmos, a 13-part documentary series that premiered on PBS in 1980. He also helped to create a metal phonograph record that had visual and audio information about Earth, which was sent out into space with the Voyager spacecraft's launch in 1977. It was the Voyager 1 space probe that captured this image that you see on the screen here, which was taken on February 14th, 1990, from an unprecedented distance of over 3.7 billion miles from Earth at the farthest reaches of our solar system. Sagan was instrumental in taking this photo of Earth before its cameras were shut down forever. Reflecting on this image in his 1994 book, Pale Blue Dot, Carl Sagan expressed what I came to recognize as the core of my humanism, shaping my thoughts about humanity and our place in the universe. While some may find this image in Sagan's words unsettling or even terrifying, the distance and vastness of space can also provide a profound sense of perspective and even belonging. If we are part of the universe, a small speck in a larger expanse of space and time, our human connections and how we treat one another become even more important. The following is a poetic adaptation of Sagan's words from his book, Pale Blue Dot. From this distant vantage point, Earth is unremarkable, a speck, not seeming of any particular interest, but for us, it is different. Look again, that tiny dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On that mote of dust, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you have ever heard of, every human being who ever was lived out their lives. The sum of our joy and suffering, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, economic doctrines, every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, creator and destroyer, king and peasant, every young couple in love, every hopeful child, mother and father, every inventor and explorer, teacher and corrupt politician, every superstar and supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species, all lived there on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. The Earth, a very small stage in a vast cosmic arena. Think of all those generals and emperors in glory and triumph, only momentary masters of a fraction of a dot. Think of the endless cruelties visited by 1/4 of this pixel upon another. Our posturings, our imagined self-importance, the delusion of privilege, all are challenged by this point of pale light. Our planet, a lonely speck in the great enveloping cosmic dark. The Earth is the only world known to harbor life. In our obscurity, in all this vastness, there is no hint that help will come from elsewhere to save us from ourselves. There is nowhere else, at least in the near future, to which our species could migrate. It has been said astronomy is a humbling experience, and there is no better demonstration of the folly of human conceits than this distant image of our tiny world. To me, it underscores our responsibility to deal more kindly with one another, to preserve and cherish the pale blue dot, the only home we've ever known.
Thank you, Jesse. We invite you to rise and stand for our opening hymn, number 298, Wake Now My Senses.
Thank you, Rainier Reunion. It is now time for all ages with Reverend Carter. Anyone of any age who wishes to see or hear our storyteller better, please come down to sit on the floor or in the front pews. While we gather, let me tell you about the religious exploration activity going on this morning. Children and youth will be exploring values through making rock towers and rock painting that you will be able to take home after the service.
Okay, everyone, ready? Okay, I'm seeing a couple more people coming down. So I have something here today that I want to tell you about. Can anyone tell me what this looks like? Tool bag, toolbox. I don't have a toolbox. This is my tool bag. And what kinds of things go in a tool bag? What is a tool bag for? Tools to fix things. Any other ideas? What's that? For being prepared, exactly. That's exactly what it's for. So this is not an ordinary tool bag. It doesn't have screwdrivers or hammers or anything like that. It is my tool bag for connection and caring. These are things that I like to have in my life, be ready and available and prepared so that I can connect with people and things and forces in my life. So I'm going to share a little bit about what is in my tool bag for care and connection. And I need a few volunteers, one at a time. Could I get someone to come up here and take a look inside the bag? Esther? Okay. So I want you to take something out and show it to everyone. Ooh. What do you think that is? You're exactly right. It's a watering can. So I like to have plants in my house. I also have a cat. These are beings that I take care of that sometimes need a little bit of water. So it's important to have a watering can so I can make sure to keep them watered. You can go sit down, you can hold that, and then just give it back to me afterward. Okay, come on up. What else do you see? There's no right answer, just pick something. What is that? Yeah, it's a candle. Does it look, why don't you show everyone else? Does it look like something you maybe use in your classes downstairs? What is that? Yeah, it's a chalice. So when you light your chalice in classes, what do you use it for? It's pretty? Okay. I wonder, Reverend Katie, could you help us out?
Well, Nora, I feel like sometimes we light the chalice to focus our attention on that moment and being together. Sometimes we use the chalice to symbolize something we need in our lives, like light or hope or warmth.
Yeah. And I'll share on the microphone for those who couldn't hear. Reverend Katie said that we light the chalice to focus our attention on the present moment and to think about something we might need in our lives, like hope. So I use the chalice. We have a big chalice here, but this is one that I keep in my tool bag for connecting with the greater spirit and connecting with my larger faith. Does that sound right? Okay, why don't you guys sit down? Thank you, Nora. Okay, I need 3 more volunteers. Okay, come on up. Okay, why don't you show everyone what this is? Yeah, it's a coffee mug, and what does it have inside it? Yeah, it has a tea bag. So what do you think this might be used for? Is it maybe for drinking tea? Yeah, it's that simple. I think sometimes one of the best ways to connect with a friend is to share a cup of tea. And in doing so, you get to sit down, have a nice conversation, and give them something that might be a little bit nourishing for them. You can do this with food or snacks or really whatever. It's nice to give someone something. Okay, thank you. Another volunteer. Okay, Kestrel. Do you know what that is?
It's a card box?
Yeah, it's a deck of cards. Have you used one before?
Yeah.
What's it for?
For playing it.
Exactly. What a great way to connect with people around you. If you don't have any tea, you can bring out a card deck. Okay, thank you, Kestrel. Okay, 2 more. Come on, Quinn. Okay, and those have to be taken. Those are together. Yeah. What is that?
A toothbrush and a mask.
Toothbrush and an eye mask. What do you think those might be for?
Because your breath smell good and
To make your breath smell good. Yeah, that's a way to care for others.
and keeping other people in mind if they are, it's an eye mask.
Yeah. Yeah. Katie? Reverend Katie?
Is it for taking care of yourself?
It is for taking care of yourself. Because sometimes you need to take care of yourself too. Not just other people. Those are important ways, a toothbrush and an eye mask. Okay, last one. Ryan? That one you'll have to open up. What is that?
It's a thank you card
It is. And what do you use a thank you card for?
to express gratitude.
Exactly. So this is all the stuff in my toolbox for connection. You can build your own. You can do whatever you want with your toolbox, but it's nice to know that you have options for connecting with others, taking care of others, caring for yourself, connecting with spirit. And also sometimes you don't even need a tool bag. Sometimes you can just give someone a hug or give them some nice words. You don't need a physical thing, but these can help. Okay, thank you all for doing that. If you have something, feel free to bring it back, and then we will sing everyone out to their classes.
We hold you in our love as you go, as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go, to nurture the spark of your precious life. We hold you in our love as you go. We hold you in our love as you go, as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go. We hold you in our love as you go.
In a moment, we will engage in a collective act of generosity known as our offering when we take time to actively support Westside and its many ministries with our gifts by text, check, or cash. Each month, we choose a community organization to share 1/3 of our undesignated offering gifts. For the month of August, our community giving recipient is Church of the Larger Fellowship, Worthy Now, which offers love and support to incarcerated UUs. You can give by text by sending a message with the $sign and the amount you want to give to the number on the screen. Just a reminder, we have a new phone number for text giving, so you'll need to update your device with the new contact number and the payment information that works best for you. For folks here in the sanctuary who prefer to share your gifts by cash or check, the greeters will move among us shortly. And now please enjoy this music from John Hanson.
During each of our services, we take a moment to make collective space for holding the joys and sorrows of this community. If you have something you would like to be shared, there is a link to do that in our newsletter. We have a joy this morning from Barb Hansen, who had the opportunity to tour the Madison Unitarian Church recently. It was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright when he was a member of the congregation. I got to see some pictures. It looks very cool. So congrats, Barb. We have a sorrow from Dejan, who is sharing that he's having a surgery on Tuesday for a hernia. Dejan, I hope it goes well, and I hope you heal well. We're holding you in our thoughts. And a sorrow from Carrie Lucinian, who shares, please keep Carrie and her kitten Peas Blossom in your thoughts as Carrie recovers from a fractured ankle and Peas Blossom from a possibly broken tail. Separate incidents, but still no fun to have at the same time. And a sorrow from Larry Brennan, whose childhood best friend's mother, Seidel, passed away a few weeks ago at the age of 92 and a half. Larry writes, she was a determined and direct woman, in many ways a typical Brooklyn kid of a certain age, and she took me under her wing during difficult periods of my life. She filled a lot of the parenting roles that my own mom couldn't. I was honored to sit Shiva with her family in New Jersey and to reconnect with many of her relatives that I've met over the years. May her memory be a blessing. Now let us have a moment of silence to hold in our hearts all the joys and sorrows, spoken and unspoken, in our community. Let us lift each other up in love and our neighbors in the wider human community. And let us lift our voices in singing our meditation, There is a Love.
This reading is from Milwaukee-based writer and organizer Garrett Bucks from his Substack, The White Pages. This excerpt of an article was written largely to other men about modern patriarchy and male loneliness, but it may be relevant to many of us. In the times when I have been most lonely, it's not necessarily because I wasn't interacting with other people. I felt profoundly alone at times when I was literally talking to other human beings for 90% of my waking hours. I felt alone when I was an active member of clubs and teams and organizations. I felt alone when I was both cultivating and receiving a great deal of external validation. Yes, the stages of life when I've interacted with few people outside of my nuclear family have been particularly lonesome. But merely catching up for a drink or bowling not alone haven't, in my experience, been enough to stave off the ghosts of alienation and disconnection. But care, genuine care, my friends, that's always made a difference. Showing up for other people actively and regularly, not because they can do something for me, validate me, advance my career, temporarily quiet my doubt and self-loathing, but because we all share a world and therefore deserve to have one more person give a damn about us. If I am less lonely than I was a few years ago, it is because I have more frequently raised my hand to wrangle allergen-friendly dishes for the potluck, to watch other people's children, to coordinate snacks for youth sports performances, to text a friend whom I know is going through a hard time, to talk to a newcomer after Quaker meeting, to getting more deeply involved, to show up to community meetings that I previously would have skipped, to host community building classes for free. And again, I'm making some progress, but none of us can or should aspire to be saints. There are friends and even family members about whom I care deeply, but whom I haven't shown care recently. There are people on my block who remain strangers. There are weeks where self-doubt or fear takes over, where I tell myself, in essence, I deserve a break from care before realizing I've squandered an embarrassing amount of that break scrolling social media. When we talk about loneliness, what we're really talking about is a lack of connection. And you don't cure disconnection through pandering or even proximity. True connection comes through interdependence, through bonds that emerge when people trust that you actually care about them, rather than viewing them as a means to an end. There is a world available to us where we feel far less alone. It's right around the corner, in fact, because regardless of where you live, that's where other people are waiting for you. There are people in or near your life who would like to be seen and noticed and listened to. There are group projects that currently need more participants, volunteer shifts that are open, people who have nothing immediately to offer you, but who, like you, wouldn't mind a decent conversation. There's a friend who is sick who would love a freezer-ready lasagna, an exhausted couple next door who needs a sitter, trash in the park begging to be picked up on Saturday morning. Your loneliness deserves care, and so do your neighbors. Start there.
Just
belonging, this is our topic today. What does belonging feel like? If you are comfortable doing so, I invite you to close your eyes for a moment and think of the times when you have felt belonging. That sense of existing in the present moment fully and feeling completely at home where you are. Completely seen and loved by the people around you. Completely seen and loved by yourself. I hope memories are coming to you. I hope you have felt this at least once in your life. For me, I think of waking up to hear the sounds of chatter and breakfast wafting out from the kitchen, knowing that the people I'm sharing space with are there, ready to welcome me. Or that perfect road trip where the company is just right. You can talk for hours, sing however beautifully or not at the top of your lungs, or settle into an easy silence without worry in between. Maybe it's coming home to an animal companion who is happy to see you, or showing up in a digital community where finally there are other people like you, where you can tell your story and have it welcomed and affirmed. Or showing up to a community space that feels like home, where people know your name and genuinely want to know how you are doing. Whatever belonging feels like to you, I invite you to rest there for a second. Linger on the feeling of someone's eyes lighting up with recognition when you enter a room. The feeling of sharing something vulnerable and having it held with more tenderness than you dared hope for. Let your body feel that sense of relief and comfort, how you can just be when you belong. And if your eyes are closed, you can open them now. Whether or not you felt your experiences mirrored in these examples, I truly hope that you have felt real belonging. In an ideal world, we would all have countless memories to draw from. Belonging would be something we could easily tap into throughout our lives. But I think many of us know that these experiences can feel fleeting and less common than we would like. Each of us knows what it feels like to not belong, to show up as your true self and be completely misunderstood or even mistreated. Or maybe to stretch and strain yourself and put on a mask that helps you fit in, slide under the radar. This may be a way to find safety, a way to get by, but we all know it is a poor substitute for belonging. I bring this to you today because those two feelings, belonging and not belonging, in some ways are normal human experiences that ebb and flow, but I think it's more than that. On one level, they are, but the story is much bigger than this because we are living in a time and a culture when feeling deeply connected is not a given. And this has real impacts on our quality of life as individuals and as a society. In the past, I know I have referenced from this pulpit the concept that we are living in a loneliness epidemic, but I want to take a moment to pause and say what this means. So in 2023, the U.S. Surgeon General's office published a report titled "Our Epidemic of Loneliness and Isolation." By framing connection as a public health metric, the report makes it very clear that many features of contemporary American life are hurting us by isolating us socially. And these effects fall heaviest on people who are already struggling. A few statistics, only a few. In 2018, only 16% of Americans reported that they felt very attached to their local community. And Both loneliness and isolation increase the risk of premature death by 26% and 29%, respectively. And on the flip side, data across 148 studies with an average of 7.5 years of follow-up suggests that social connection increases the odds of survival by 50%. This makes intuitive sense, I think. We are a social species that evolved to survive through mutual aid and cooperation. It feels good to be connected, and it feels bad not to be connected. But I think it's bigger than this intuitive feeling. There's the reality that people with strong social ties are more likely to have the support they need to follow medical protocols when they get sick. Those embedded in community have easier access to emotional and practical care after disaster or personal loss. And in everyday life, we learn from our friends and family about ways that we can care for our own physical health, financial health, general well-being. When we spend time with people we love, we feel pleasure, and that reduces our stress levels. The advisory committee that wrote the report put it well. They said, "Our brains have adapted to expect proximity to others. Our distant ancestors relied on others to help them meet their basic needs. Living in isolation or outside the group means having to fulfill the many difficult demands of survival on one's own. This requires far more effort and reduces one's chance of survival. Despite current advancements that now allow us to live without engaging directly with others, such as food delivery, automation, remote entertainment, our biological need to connect remains." So in that regard, thank you for showing up to church on a hot Sunday, no less, for resisting your own isolation in this one small act, and thank you for all that you do to make this space available for others in our wider community who may be longing for a space just like this. In laying out a potential national strategy against loneliness, the Surgeon General noted that cultural organizations like churches have important roles to play. We are not just spiritual communities, but hubs for connection. This is a big part of why I do ministry. My faith teaches me that community is what makes us whole and what makes life rich with meaning. You don't have to be an extrovert like me for this to be true. Being connected simply means knowing that someone will be there for you in your time of need, and knowing that you have an opportunity to contribute to someone else's life. A social butterfly spending their days in shallow interactions can be much lonelier than someone deeply embedded in a small but tight web of relationship. I see this impact on health every day at my clinical chaplaincy job. In Portland, I work at a big nonprofit hospital the weeks that I'm not here. And this hospital serves people from all walks of life. And being a level 1 trauma center, I do care for people experiencing heartbreaking situations, accidents and illnesses that lead to death or seriously change lives. These situations are tragic. But there is the other kind of tragedy I see every day when I meet patients living a slower suffering. They are suffering from an entangled mess of chronic illness and chronic stress, who have lived through deep emotional traumas and are finding their way without adequate social support. There is simply not enough affordable housing, skilled nursing, or addiction support available or accessible to my patients who have the least social connections. People end up in long hospital stays not because they are acutely ill, but because they are acutely disconnected. Without housing, reliable food access, or companions to help when times are tough, it's that much harder to take needed medications, to adequately care for your wounds, or to get deep enough rest for the body to heal. When we worship independence above everything else, your health is determined by whether or not you are lucky enough to be able to build and maintain your own social safety net. So, of course, the people who suffer the most are the ones already carrying the heaviest loads. People of color, single parents, disabled people, elders. The more I search to understand belonging, the more I understand that it's not just this magic thing that happens when you find your people. It can be that, but belonging is not just a personal experience. It is a social, political, and deeply spiritual issue that we must all work to address. If we approach belonging as this thing that can be given to us by someone outside of ourselves, or perhaps something we can earn or buy, we are doing it wrong. In 21st century America, we are all responsible for creating a culture of connection that adequately distributes resources and makes space for belonging. It's beloved community. We all know about it. That place where all souls are welcomed as blessings and the human family lives whole and reconciled. This can feel daunting, but there is good news. There are concrete things that we can do. The Surgeon General's report outlines roles for government, community organizations, and individuals. Researchers over and over again have found something beautiful. Studies on social connection interventions chart what's called a virtuous cycle. When people get connected and get involved, they trust each other more, which makes them feel more empathy for one another and makes them want to connect with each other more. People who know their neighbors bounce back from disasters, and whole communities that are well connected have more economic growth. As Garrett Bucks says in today's reading, there are group projects that currently need more participants. Volunteer shifts that are open, people who have nothing immediately to offer you, but who, like you, wouldn't mind a decent conversation. There is a friend who is sick who would love a freezer-ready lasagna, an exhausted couple next door who need a sitter, trash in the park begging to be picked up on a Saturday morning. His examples here really reflect the key recommendations for individuals in the loneliness report. The report tells us that we need to invest time on a daily basis, nurturing our relationships. We should seek opportunities to support and serve others, actively engage with people of different backgrounds, participate in social and community groups, reduce practices that lead to disconnection, seek help during times of struggle, make time for civic engagement, and reflect the values of connection in how you are with others. These recommendations in some ways are simple. There's nothing particularly groundbreaking about them, but it is sometimes easier said than done. I find I need to keep learning these lessons and practices myself, and I am in a caring profession. So I'll be vulnerable and I'll share a recent story of I just need to keep learning these lessons. As a lifelong UU, I have come to feel a reliable sense of belonging in most UU spaces, but I have had to renegotiate this in becoming a minister. I had to learn not just to fit in as a UU, but as a UU religious professional. Doing most of my seminary training remotely and field learning experiences during lockdown years, in times when it seemed like everyone was burnt out and we all had limited resources for connection, I missed some important experiences of building collegial relationships that I think people are expected to get in those years. So 2 years ago, I went to my first Ministry Days conference and General Assembly after being ordained, and I had a good time. It was a lovely time. But I mostly felt like I was the new kid trying to find my place with no one to show me the way. Looking around, I saw all these cool, accomplished ministers who looked like they all already knew each other, and I didn't know how they got to that point. I put on my best serious minister face and made pleasant small talk about congregational life and things like that with the kind folks who would talk to me, And it's not that they were cliquish, they really are not cliquish people, but I still didn't have that experience of belonging. But this year, when I went again, something shifted, and I think it's because I was able to show up a little differently. Part of it is that 2 years into this work, I wasn't the newest kid, and I felt pretty grounded in my professional identity. But what I believe made the difference was remembering how I felt that first time, and remembering how easy it is to feel that questioning of my own belonging, and realizing that there were probably a ton of people in that room who knew that experience and maybe were experiencing it in that moment. I understood that this was a place where I could help create belonging for others and maybe find my own place in the process. So empowered, I started introducing myself to everyone I sat next to in workshops or in line for food. I actually made an effort to recognize peers I'd met in Zoomland who looked very different. You know, they have masks on, they're heights that I wouldn't have predicted. And I worked to reconnect with these people. And I started inviting people to sit with me, to get coffee, to walk or roll with me from one part of the conference center to another. In those moments when my invitations were accepted, were the best memories from this conference. Now, the list of people I can call to check in with is much longer, and I didn't have to be this poised, serious, cool, impressive person to make it happen. In fact, quite the opposite. I learned that there is actually space in my professional community for messiness, silliness, and realness, and when I brought it, it was brought back to me. There is space in UU minister circles for karaoke at the gay bar, for late nights playing heretical card games about outlandish Bible passages, and for reminiscing about our best experiences as being a minister, and for mourning our mistakes and limitations in this job in company that gets it. I got to experience these moments because I reached out with care, attention, and curiosity to others, with no expectation of anything in return. So with this lesson, I hope that in the future, when I feel that itchy feeling of doubting whether I belong somewhere, my impulse will be to get a little bit creative, ground in my own sense of belonging, and offer care to others. This isn't a perfect formula. What I give can always be rejected or received with judgment, and there may be times when it is not safe to give of myself. But my faith tells me that there is someone, somewhere, with whom I can co-create belonging. I will do everything I can to find spaces where this is true, to bring my tool bag and get to work. And I hope you too can find those places where people are ready to co-create belonging with you. It's not everywhere, but it's special when you find it. Brené Brown explains belonging beautifully. She says, true belonging is the spiritual practice of believing in and belonging to yourself so deeply that you can share your most authentic self with the world and find sacredness in both being a part of something and standing alone in the wilderness. True belonging doesn't require you to change who you are. It requires you to be who you are. The work is in belonging to yourself and sharing yourself with something larger than you, where your authenticity is welcomed and what you have to share is welcomed. It sometimes takes real work, and it is sometimes as simple as showing up. So with that, I have a closing blessing for you all. May we remember what belonging feels like. And may we remember that we have the power to create belonging for others. May you reach out your hand to someone in need. May you say someone's name with the joy you like yours being said with. May we all build a world where no one has to wonder if they matter, where we can give and receive care with humility and gratitude. Let it be a practice. Let us practice. And in the practice of it, may we find ourselves in that glorious experience of belonging. May it be so.
We invite you to rise in body or spirit to sing our closing hymn, We Laugh, We Cry, number 354.
Song. We need to feel there's something here.
Thank you all for gathering with us today. And a big thank you goes to Rainier Reunion, John Hanson, Marion Key, Reverend Carter, Jesse Durst, and our tech people, Nate Mesnard, Henry Sikora, and Sarah Deppe. Thank you also to ushers and hospitality. As always, it is a pleasure and blessing to do this sacred work together. Please do make sure to look at your West Side Week, which we will have received on Friday, for details about upcoming events. There are a couple of things I want to highlight. We have a new third Sunday programming, which will be an opportunity for folks to gather for talks, shared learning experiences, and small group ministry. Our first third Sunday event will be on September 21st for a Bill McKibben lecture sponsored by the Environmental Justice Team. Our next Sunday service will be our in-gathering service on September 14th with Reverend Carter and Liz Bucklew. In this multi-generational service, we will share a water communion, so please feel free to bring a small container of water from your summer travels or your home, and we will also be commissioning our new pastoral care team.
Thank you, Aimee. And just a couple of notes. September 21st will also be our RE open house kickoff at the same time. So lecture streamed upstairs, RE open house downstairs. You have choices. And we have a pastoral care team has now chosen their name, and we'll hear more about it at the future service. But they are the SOUL team, which stands for Support, Outreach, Understanding, and Listening. So, like I said, you'll hear more about it in a couple of weeks here. I invite you to please rise one more time in body or spirit for our closing words. A quote from our reading by Garrett Buck. There is a world available to us where we feel far less alone. It's right around the corner, in fact, because regardless of where you live, that is where other people are, waiting for you. Now I'll invite Jesse to release our flame. May you go into this week blessed and blessing the world. We hold you in our love as you go.